All right, so we are heading into game 3 here. And I'm excited for this one. This should be good. Who do you got for game 3?
Honestly, I mean, the Abzan deck does seem pretty well situated in this matchup.
Yeah.
A lot of good tools. I just love the Lorans. I'm a big Loran fan.
Yeah.
You definitely there were times where artifacts and enchantments were almost indestructible in these standard formats, where like people just didn't main deck these sorts of hate cards for them. But they are so prevalent in the standard format. There are so many good enchantments, and now there are so many good artifacts as well that these effects are awesome. They're just really powerful. Like we're at a point where you could almost main deck Disenchant. So Loran is that, but in 2025, a little more powerful. And then again, the fact that it has synergy with the deck is also great too.
Yep, it definitely seemed like it was just Urbrass Forge for the longest time, and that was always a sideboard card, so you could leave this kind of, anti-artifact or enchantment hate in the board, but yeah, now it is a completely different story, and everything's really in the main. So it looks like Justin's taking a mulligan, Zevin has kept, and Zevin's just got the look of pure focus, just ready to game.
Locked in.
Locked in.
Love it.
Absolutely.
I like all the smiles from our Boros opponent, our player from the last round. Which is cool too. But you're both very, very valid ways to enjoy your tournament experience.
Exactly.
Hardcore serious, or I'm playing a cool homebrew. I'm crushing. I'm having a great day.
Yeah, it's the players that can manage to have the I'm having a great day while being, these players that don't make mistakes and they're always locked in. Corey Burkhardt, I think, is my go-to for that. He's always having fun, but he's always playing some tight Magic.
He's a very good one.
Yeah.
Good guy, too.
Good guy, yeah.
Love Corey.
Yeah. Hopefully he didn't get injured this time around. He had a rough pro tour that hung around with that injury for his thumb for quite a while, but he was still dominating tournaments. Took second at the last U.S. Regional Championship with Teamer Breach.
Can't hold him down.
Can't.
Could smash your thumb in a car door, but no problem.
Yeah.
Keep playing.
Yeah. He's got it all. So, looks like Justin did decide to keep. Justin on the play. And the Otter is loose.
What are your thoughts on that basic land, Corey?
I like it. I like it a lot. Big fan. Did it get the Corey Cutter? It sure did. This is exactly what the card wants, huh?
Yeah, pretty cool card where it's actually seen a decent amount of play just for the creature half of things.
Yeah.
On sideboards, but now that artifact half being very relevant too. And one of the things about this Izzet deck is it is fairly threat light.
Yeah.
If you can answer the Cutter, maybe have a rule spell for this Draycatcher, you put them in a spot where they're trying to stock up to draw more threats, but they aren't applying any pressure. That's a really very good way to beat this deck. And there you go.
There it is. Eliminate the threats, and then all the remaining things are just not that exciting. So stock up here, of course, a very exciting card, but looks a lot better when you can connect with your Draycatcher or you already have Corey Steelcutter in play, something like that. This is a very tame draw from Justin. So, it's a good draw, but it's been a very tame game, and it could have been a lot worse for Zevin.
Right. To be fair, this was a great draw from Justin, but it got picked apart.
Definitely.
Zevin had both the answers on both streets, which was great. And then stock up in these Izzet decks is not really a 3-drop. Stock up, you want it to be a 4-drop. You want to be able to stock up on 4 and play another spell, trigger cutters, double prowess triggers, and really kind of utilize that. This divination effect it's obviously a bit of a divination, but you want to get more out of it by using the double spells and so on and so forth. So not as good of a stock up as you'd like it to be.
Yeah, you definitely, the play patterns when Izzet's doing its most busted things is obviously one of the 1-drops, and then turn 2, maybe one of your creatures. Turn 3, Corey Steelcutter plus card, then stock up plus card.
Right.
Yeah. There's Rawl. Ooh. The Otter Planeswalker coming to help out the Otter friend.
And this is actually huge given the context of his draw, where Zevin was able to slow down the initial rush, but Raw is the perfect card to play in this kind of grindy, you killed my thing, maybe discard kind of game. Because it sits there, it's hard to remove, and there really aren't a ton of ways to remove Raw from the board here. I don't actually see a single direct way to remove the Planeswalker from the board besides just attacking it.
Yeah, and Zevin, the main thing we haven't even brought up, been missing land drops left and right, so this game is basically over.
Yeah, from a phenomenal start.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't ask for a better turn 1 and turn 2 for Zevin.
From both players, yeah. It was kind of all cylinders, but then the big stumble, and we're going to see this Izzet deck looking pretty well positioned. Whenever you can just get this brainstorm going off, draw 3 cards, discard a couple, get these loyalty counters going up when you're casting all your spells. I mean, we saw Nathan almost win a game, which looked really, really rough for him, pretty much on the back of this Raw Crackling Whip.
Yeah, and this is also, the issue with these 3-color Pixie decks, whether they're Abzan, Esper, whatever else. Mana bases they're fine.
Yeah.
They're not amazing. Basic Swamp here, no white source. If that was a Concealed Courtyard, maybe a different story.
Yeah.
But a little tough here.
Yeah, and just a little frustrating there from Zevin. But, of course, a player of his caliber knows these kind of games happen. And Zevin's probably not going to regret this at all because kept a 2-land around the draw. You didn't get there. These are the hands you got to keep. Sometimes it just doesn't work.
Yeah, with all the tools, too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
3-color mana bases can be a problem for sure. We don't have the triomes like that version of Standard where, the mana base felt free, and it felt free forever, But now it is not that way.
Yeah, buyback on the stock up. I feel like when you're buying back stock up with the talent on a relatively stable board, feels pretty good.
Or a board when you're ahead. When you're ever ahead and you're doing this kind of play, like you feel like you got to start looking at the game like, how can I lose instead of like, what do I need to do to win?
Yeah, and then Planeswalkers, of course, obviously unopposed Planeswalkers doesn't matter what the format is.
Yeah.
If it's a play for a few turns, the advantage becomes somewhat insurmountable.
And I mean, they don't make them like they used to make them back in the day. You see Chandra Torch of Defiance being like the best card in that Standard format forever, for so long. Planeswalkers aren't as good as they used to be, but they're still good enough. And Elspeth is still very, very good, just not seeing enough play.
That one is, yeah.
That's a spicy one.
Corey Steelcutter, almost Planeswalker-esque.
Yeah.
It's a threat, sits there. The game goes on. The longer the game goes on, the better it gets.
They spelled the Corey part wrong, but whatever. We'll get into that later.
I was waiting for it. I'm amazed we got this many rounds without it.
I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist. I'm the king of going for the low-hanging fruit,
It's easy to grab.
Exactly. All right, seeing some more otters here. By the way, I got to give props to Justin's otters tokens, Except that last one. The first one's super cute, super adorable. Oof.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to watch that game and be like, Magic sucks. We should fix the land system. This is so stupid. But that's the cost of doing business.